Alright, welcome back guys. So today we're gonna not do job seeking and also not yesterday because the thing is that in my country when certain people take off holiday, they also take with the weekend coming up. So they have an extra day off, which means they're not working, which means there will not be a lot of jobs. So we will try on Tuesday again. So yeah, a couple of days no job seeking because yeah, it makes sense. So we have been working a little bit on React and I want to actually extend on that. So we're gonna do that. And we're gonna set a timer of like 5 minutes or something. And yeah, let's see what we have here. So yesterday we made some mistakes and I want to see what kind of mistakes that were. So let me see. So I want to see is that apparently, oh, that did not go well. Apparently, um, FTA, filter tab active, filter tab active, FTA. Okay. And also I did this wrong because I said the show is show.label, but that doesn't make any sense because we are in a map function, so we have to use item.label. And the label here is actually the show. So it's a bit confusing when I say this because this is a replacement argument. So from now on, I decided to just call this arc. Um, Also, I forgot that I have to use not item here because we are outside of the loop. We're not inside of the loop, so we have to use filtered. The funny part is that if I'm using the find function, then I can just say um, if it's filtered, then render, else null. So we're gonna try two things here. Now, one of the questions that I have here is that I do not fully understand why I have to, let me go a little bit, I'm actually go here so you guys can see it better. So, and I'm going to try to find that out. Let me see where it is. Yeah, here. So what I don't understand here is why are we setting this to the active state? I do not understand that at the moment. Um, yeah, because we're doing this. We said filtered length and then filtered the zero when the tab label is filtered. So yeah, I just want to see what's going to happen when we're going to do that. So that is a question that I'm going to ask ChatGPT. So let's do that. Um, so I'm gonna make a screenshot. Okay, and I'm gonna ask, why do you set the active equal to the tab label tab.label here. So let's see what it is. The line in question is, okay, let's see what we have here. ChatGPT says the line filters the tab array to find the tab that matches the currently active tab by comparing the tab label to active tab. Why tab label to active tab? This comparison is necessary because active tab stores the label of the current selected lab, home, profile, settings. This filtering helps in determining which content should be displayed. This means if there's a tab selected, the filtered length at 0, this bigger than 0 displays its content. Okay, then my next questions are, so why filtered dot length 0? Can't I just say filtered and continue? That would need to be safe in all cases. Filtered is always an array. Okay, that's true. Okay. If the tab is not selected, filtered is an empty array. Empty array is truthy in JavaScript. So it won't render. It will still render undefined, but filtered is empty and you get. Okay. Oh, it's better. Will it though? Will it render this? That I'm curious about. When filtered is empty, you will. Yeah, but it's not empty. Assume. Okay. Assume filtered is not empty. What will happen in that case? And that's the conditional, but here's the trade-off. If you comment that it always matches tab label, does a filter should alter the array with one item, then it is perfectly valid and clean. Right now, its use state null, so when the page loads, filters will be empty if you render this. You will get undefined content and a runtime error. Safer option if you want to avoid a length check. Okay. I just want to ask what the question mark does here. What does the question mark do here? Optical chaining. Okay, in your example, it's equivalent to filtered at 0 cannot be undefined and filtered at content. If filtered 0 already exists, it returns filtered content. If filtered is undefined, it doesn't show it. It just say undefined. But here he just said, but it's okay. I see. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading content. Okay. Bonus, you can chain multiple. If the user exists, undefined or exists. A profile exists, part of interface. But these must be true and city does not be true. Right? Okay. Very interesting. I did not know that it worked that way, but that is a little bit different. Okay, so we have some questions answered. It said that if I don't do a length check, okay, um, no check means undefined. That's basically what it says. No check means undefined. Okay, let's do it like this. No check is undefined. No check means undefined. Okay, the second thing is that um, we're putting null as the value. So null as value. So it starts here. But when we continuing, um, it it should work. There's only one problem that I see here. So I'm gonna ask more questions. So it is interesting because you say active is null at the beginning. Also in the fil filtered constant. However, it is not inside the map. How would active know map function? How would active know how to select the right how active know to select the right key, right value in an array of objects tabs? Okay, so when the button is clicked, set active tab label updates the state. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is updated. This is the state is updated. Okay. React uses renders async functions during the render. Further that starts filter runs again. And now active tab is profile, for example. So filtered profile content, this is your profile. Um, but then you're basically saying that so the label in active tab is equal to the label argument in button handler, but specifically used in map function, it is equal to the label click. Okay, yes. So for every object in tabs, you create a button. Yes. So tab label is profile, button highlight scroll. Button set active tab to label. This updated state. Active tab is profile. Um, active tab is profile. Okay, I see how it works. That is a very weird observation, but sure. So basically, what you're saying is, let me see. You're saying that label is active tab, which is the same as this label, which is the same as active tab. That is what it is. And this is a placeholder. Like this is a placeholder. So this is a placeholder, right? And then we say length, and because this, when I click on it, the state has been updated in the active tab, thus shows the first part. Okay, I think I get it. Is there any other things that I want to ask before I try? Um, is there anything I want to simplify? We had fan, filter, tap. Um, what was the N again? FTA or FTA, set to state. Yeah, the active. Too hard, simplify. The connect was okay. So my gap list is these parts, right? This one can not be the show, it actually has to be item label because you're setting that to that one, right? Let me see if I understand. If I understand correctly. So tab dot label, but they're referring to this label. Interesting. Um, Let me think about that. How does it know it has to be label? Okay, so this is I'm still missing the part where this this part is linked to this part. So I'm gonna ask, how is button handler tab.label connected to filtered zero not content? How does it know? So the connection is reactive. Yes, I know. You click on a button. So let's say tab label is settings. Then the button handler says settings. Button handler sets state. Okay, which means active tab is settings. Okay, then revendors, the active tab is settings. So if it's settings, then it grabs the other one. Okay, that's a very obnoxious think process, but okay. And that took us 20 minutes, but yeah, okay, let's try it. Let's try if you understand. So we're gonna go to a React environment. All right, React, not this one. React playground. Okay, and I give myself like, nah, I really need to solve this in 10 minutes to be honest. Okay, so let's do this. Active, set active. Obviously, we want to have to set this to null. Makes sense. This is gonna go, and here we're gonna say const tab is an array of objects which starts with label, which is label 1, and then answer. Let's do question answer, which is going to be answer 1. Okay, awesome. Let's do this for the same one. Okay. Alright, so at least we have this one. Is there a problem? I don't see a problem. An array of objects. And our problem is a comma. Awesome. Now, gonna go back. Let's see if we can render something. If it works. Hello. Okay, great. Now the first thing that we need to do is actually make a button handler. So we're gonna say const button handler is an anonymous function. And we're gonna say I think it's useful if we actually do that here. And we say set active. We're gonna need an argument, so args. We're gonna say args via function if the um, okay, if the args is equal to active, then we say active, else we say null. Okay, then we're gonna say const filtered is tabs dot filtered, and in this filter, in the filter function, we also want to make a comparison. Because we're doing tabs, we're gonna say tab via function, where we're gonna say we wanna put the tab equal to the active. Okay. Now we're gonna render it. We're gonna say tabs dot map open up. We're gonna say item. Do we need something else? Not really, but just in case, let's do an ID. We're gonna directly return something. So let's do a button, and we're gonna say on click we want to render button handler, and a button handler has an argument which is item dot question. Okay, so also we want to render item dot question here, so we have the buttons, but first we also gonna need to have a key, which is the ID. Okay, we don't have currently something on the screen that is worrisome, because we need to fire a function, probably. Yeah. Okay, so we have the labels now. Now behind the tabs, we want to say filtered um, uh, let me see. Is filtered filtered dot length I think you do it like this. Okay, no, like this. Then we're gonna say vendor dp tag, and then we're gonna say filtered the filtered 0 because we want to play the first one only because there's only one thing, and then we're gonna say answer. Okay, close. Okay, expected this one. Okay, can I just not say like this? Okay, then I'm gonna say filter.length is bigger than 0, else it's null. Okay, doesn't work. So we have an issue. Let's think about the issues. So the first issue, what I think is here, because we say um, we have 3 times the arguments. That doesn't make any sense. That's the first thing. But we have something here. For React beginner, any tips? Practice a lot. That's my tip. Because React is reactive state. That's why. We have 2.5 minutes left to solve this question. Okay. Okay, if the argument is active, play active. Oh, okay. Here, null, and then active. I think that could be. Okay, that doesn't. The answers in question, we have them here. Okay. Fan. Okay, filtered. Uh, FTA. Yeah. Okay, this should be right. Types of filter. Args is args, active is null is active. Okay, so let's see here. Buttons key ID. I wanna have the button handler. I fired a function, but that does make sense. Okay. Is this correct? Yes, because we just say we have an argument and we don't have dot question here. And here it makes sense because we are filtering the answer. So my only logical case is that here I'm making a mistake for me. Can I do this? No. Hmm. We'll see. I think I know where I go wrong. I think I should do this. God damn it. Okay. Uh, Alright, time is up. I got it wrong. No worries. We were very close though. So we're gonna go to new page and let's see what ChatGPT has to say to us. Oh, really? Is that the only thing? Okay, let's see if that is true. Oh, okay. Very close. Sure. Okay. All right. No worries. So let's go and see more about our mistake. Right? Let's go here. So basically, our mistake was we were comparing tab to tab is active, but this doesn't make any sense because we need the argument where we are comparing to. And that makes sense because we have tabs, we are filtering the tabs, and then what are we comparing to? Well, we're setting the question to the active state, and I forgot that part. Okay, but yeah, very close. Pretty much happy with the result here. I'm gonna show you how I learned these questions, so if you're interested in that, you can watch. So yeah, let me see. This one should be this date, and the result was neutral. Uh, okay, okay. The attempt date is 3 days later. That means on. Oh, we don't have May 31. Oh, we do have 1, 2, 3. I say it's on Monday, but let's do it on Tuesday instead. So, okay. Copy, paste. I did the same just now. Okay. So we're gonna repeat it on this one. Let's write our mistake. We're gonna write down and we're gonna say compare active to a key value. Key, I will say key in object. Okay. Alright. So that is our mistake. I'll make a screenshot of that. Okay. Okay. So last time we made a mistake of these ones. This one we got them fixed and we understand the logic what's happening here. Now for a little extra, if we do this, we say find, then we just say filtered and we can do the exact same and that creates issues. Why? Um, so I'm curious. Because of this one, filtered answer. Okay. So that's how we can do the filter one. So that is curious to know. So I could also say that I understand the filter part from the tab component. Great. All right, so let's do the next one. So the next one that I have planned today is filter tab with search filters fruit. Okay, let's go and see where this is. Don't see it currently, but it should be here somewhere. I think it's this one. Or no. No. Something else. Globals, team, input, tabs. Okay, I see the bounced here, but we don't need to have a the bounced one. We need a normal one. I'm not seeing it though. Let's zoom out. Maybe I'm forgetting something. No, something else. Feedback, the bounce term. No. Label, toggle model, label, to do. Okay, so we don't have that here currently. I think that is the only logical conclusion, so that doesn't matter. We do have like somewhere where it is. Phatt's Akio steps folder, model ref, accordion, fetch, debounce, model, to do. Oh, this is the reason why I can find it, because I don't have it here. Very interesting. What I'm gonna do then, I'm gonna say, okay, that's clear. Create one without debounce. Okay. I'm gonna screenshot this, save this in the Anki folder, and we're gonna say filter food list. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna first prime, like let's see where the connection is, are what things are connected and why they are connected without too much thinking. And later on we're gonna do the thinking. So yeah, we're gonna set a timer. I think that will take me like 3 minutes. So all right. So we see here that we have a array, right? We have a state. We have a filter, and we have an input. Right? We have an input, and we have a map. Oh, let's do the opposite way. Map. So those are the things that we need to be able to make a filter list. It's like a search list. That's how you should see it. Now, of course, there are some elements here. There's an argument here, right? An argument. And also, there seems to be like the actual search value, right? Which is set to this value. So we have an reactive state here, which actually is the use state, right? And this starts with an empty string because we are filtering to words, not to nothingness. So yeah, those seems to be the things. So let's actually name that. Let's call this ASFIM. So we have an abbreviation of this one. Can we do, yeah, AFFSM? Now, that was the priming. Now, the second thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna have my list here, so give me a second, guys. Okay. Oh, I closed it entirely. That should not happen. I'm going to, let me see where it is. Filter list. Do I see it? No. Okay. Filter list. So the first thing, so we're gonna take like 10 minutes for this. The first thing that I've noticed here is that we're doing a very specific way of um, filtering through if a fruit is something. And we are using the include function for this, which is a JavaScript array function. I don't like this way of doing that. So I'm thinking about um, actually setting it to the active state maybe. So maybe we could say like set term, like set term, right? Then we have the argument. Let me actually put it in white so you guys can see. We have the argument, and then we say that um, the argument, which should be the value. Let me see. Um, Whatever the value is. No, that won't work what I want to do. We actually do need a specific keyword. Okay, so we have to think about let it go now. So let's use the include and later on think about when we have something else. Okay, now here it makes sense. We are setting the value of the term. So anything we are going to type on the screen is going to be set to the term. Now, furthermore, we say render the term when we are typing. So yeah, we have a array, we have a state, we have a function filter, right? So we have a filter, we have an input, and we have a mapping function. So ASFIM. Let me see if I think about certain stuff, if things make sense or not. So why are we doing certain things? Um, for me, everything makes sense. The lowercase is not necessarily, I think, here. I think that is a safety part. I don't think that's needed. Is there anything I don't understand here? No, I pretty much understand everything here. So let's see the connections. So the connections basically, let me put a different color. This item is connected to this item because you're filtering through what is currently on the screen. But having currently on the screen, you have to check the onState value, which comes from the term. But in order to do that, um, the term starts empty, and when we start typing, it gets updated. So this is the direct link. So where does this link come in with the term? We have to think about that. This one already includes the whole filter, right? This is already happening. So it just says anything from here should match the term. That is what it's saying. So these are the connections. Let me see if I forget something. Can I'm wondering if I can simplify this, right? This part is a bit of a question mark. I get what's happening, and but I hope to find a simpler way to do this. This is for both. It makes sense in JavaScript though, but I think we can um, reduce the friction. Okay, are there any questions? Um, no, I think that's pretty clear. I think we can actually go and create it, but um, yeah, let's do it. Let's make a try. Okay, good luck me. Let's set 10 minutes for this. Okay. Um, so we have some fruits, right? Let's actually make a step list. We have an array, we have a filter, we have an input, we have a map, and we're forgetting something here because we had a abbreviation. But let's do the array first. So mango, kiwi, apple, pineapple, um, strawberry. Okay, these are the things that I came up with. So that's the first thing. And let's close this one. All right, great. We need to have an empty string, and what we are actually doing, we are searching. So we're gonna say search, search, set search. Okay. So we already have the array, we have the s, like the state. Now we're gonna say the filter. So we're gonna say const fruit filter, and a const fruit filter has an argument called fruit, and we're gonna um, let me see if that. No, I think we should not do this. We should say fruits filter is fruits dot filter, and then we're gonna say that the fruit should be equal. Fruit should includes the search. Okay, because we said term, now we said search. So we have the filter finish. Now we have to do the input. Okay, so let's create an input. Input. Okay, we have a self-closing input. We're gonna say placeholder. Um, type your fruit. Okay, then we're gonna say name is search, and also we're gonna say the value is search, and then we're gonna say on change. On change, we want to say set search, and we fire a function Um, and then we're gonna say e target search. I think that is how you do it. Now, to test this, we're gonna make a paragraph and we're gonna say search. And let's see if we type something that it actually shows up on the screen. We have an issue here. Let me see. We should say value. That's the first one. Maybe we should not fire a function. And we haven't mapped it yet. We have a fragment. So the issues is in the input. So we forgot how to do an input properly. That's what we're saying. Is there enough space? Yes. Okay, space here, space here. This makes sense. So let's see what a mistake is. Not here. Okay. Uh, so I think the mistake is here then. Okay. Yeah. And if we type something, nothing changed. So on change, we want to say set search to e target value. That's how you do it, right? Apparently not. So here we have an issue. Now that's okay. Let's continue for now. We're gonna go and say, can I just not say on change? I think this should be, oh, wait a minute. I see. I think nothing. Okay. Now it should be set search. Set search is e. Let me say e target value. Should it be e target search? That doesn't make any sense, right? No. Okay, let's continue for now. We're gonna say fruit dot filter dot map. And say item and ID. And we're gonna directly return. We're gonna say first a UL and then an li. The UL I can do it outside. I think that is a better idea of doing it. So let's put it outside of the stuff. We're gonna say key is ID, so it knows which one it is. And then we're just gonna render item. Okay. Now, is there anything that I'm missing? Not really. Okay, so how much minutes have we left? We have 2 minutes left. So we have to figure out this line what we are doing wrong. So let's think about it. I'm setting search to the e-target value. Does that make any sense? Shouldn't I just say value is e-target value? No. No, it really needs an argument though. So here, this is the only problem we have currently. The rest seems fine. How many minutes have we left? We have 1 minute left. Search. Okay. Okay, but then we cannot type. So that is an issue because we cannot type. The list is rendered, right? So that's not the. So we have an issue here. Um, Set search to e-target value. I just. Hmm, but we already did it. We did this. That doesn't render. Hmm. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should do this. Um, Set search to e target value. Okay, kinda. We do have a mistake somewhere. So, and also the list disappears, so we have multiple mistakes maybe. All right, no worries. Next, what is the issues? You're on the right track, but there's a small bug. You're not passing the E. I just did that and it didn't work. Is that the only thing? Okay. So yeah, let's write it down because we still made a mistake. It was very close, right? We understood the part, right? So okay, so let's go to the React playground. We're gonna remove that, and we're gonna make a screenshot, and we're gonna say what our mistakes were. So okay, so um, the mistake that we made is this line, right? We did not understood correctly. We have to first find a function, then use the state um, with with an argument. So function, where is it? This one. Function, argument, state, argument. Function asa. Okay, that was our mistake. Okay, so this wasn't a huge problem. I think one of the things that my question was is that um, I want to know other ways. Other ways. Okay, let's see. Starts with index of mm, fruits filter regex text fruit new regex I. Oh, to use the match function. Sum. Okay. Mm, Okay, so let's see the index of. Okay, but if you are doing an index check, then you have to do not equal to -1. Okay. Um, Starts with this will only show fruits where the beginning of the fruits matches the names of the search. Okay. So there's no real term sum term dot fruit lowercase includes term. Hmm. Oh, okay. We have to do the splitting. This is also not needed. So actually, that's funny that the includes is the best function if you want to match something with filters. Okay, now we know. Great. I would say, would we have figured it out? Yes, but uh, okay. And the attempt date is also gonna be on the second. Okay. Did we miss something? I think we can also do the bounce search here. No, actually here. Okay. Um, to filter. Okay, the second date is the second, and June is tomorrow. Um, so we can continue with the accordion. Is that what we're doing today? No, we switched it up. That's what I see. Okay, that's so fine. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Well, it's basically today's date, but it's gonna be tomorrow, like in 18 hours, 19 hours. Okay, temp date is gonna be this one. Mm, let's just see where, because we made a mistake, right? We said why this way and not, for example, on change. Um, we said set search to fire function, and then we said e is at e target value. Is everything closed? Set search. We're missing this one. Great question. Okay. Working version, incorrect version. This is correct. On change, expect a function that receives an event object. You're providing an error function takes an e and sets set calls with the eTarget value. Okay, so the eTarget value will then be the search term. This is incorrect because set search is being called immediately when the component re-renders, not on change. You're not passing to the onChange, you're calling the set search with a function as arguments, which returns nothing meaningful for React. Think of onChange like this. OnChange function handle change. Const value is eTarget value, and it sets the search to the value. Yes, that's what I just said. If you want to be more concise, optional, target value is set search value. Okay. Okay. So it basically says if you do this, it re-renders directly, and this one re-renders when you're comparing something. Okay. So let's do some note taking then. Very simple. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to go to my, let me see where it is. Model click, filter list. Okay. And one fun thing that I want to write down is that on change, um, expect event object handler, else nothing changes. Okay, we have written that down. Great. How are you doing, LeaveX? Not sure if you're still here, but we were a bit focused, right? So, yeah. All right, we're gonna work on a function on the. We're gonna work on the array prototypes, and then we're gonna work on a project. Um, so yeah, let's do that for like 20 minutes. Okay. And let's exit out of both of those. Let's save. And we're gonna go to array methods classification. And there are a couple of functions that I want to focus on today. Let's go to this one, and we're gonna go to array prototype. Now, why am I doing this? Alright. The reason why I'm doing this is because we're gonna use them a lot with lead coding soon. So yeah, we're just gonna check what each of them does. Okay, so we're gonna open up a new one. This is new, so I'm also trying to see what happens. I'm not gonna flashbang you guys, so I'm gonna do this. And we're gonna just gonna read. The add method of array takes an integer value and returns an item at that index, allowing for positive and negative integers. Negative integers count back from the last item in an array. Okay, that means that this is -1 and this is -2. Const array 5 to, okay. Let index be 2, 0, 1, 2, which means 8. An index of index returns index at index. -2 -1 -2 returns 130. Makes total sense. Okay. Now that is the priming, right? So basically what happens here, if we have an array, right? And we say at, and we have like a function, and this is going to be like a square, this is going to be this one, and this is going to be a circle. It checks 0, 1, 2 at, and this is expect an int, right? An integer. So if you say 0, zeros are linked. So this is the link. If I say 2, then these are linked. That is what's happening here. Okay, is there anything I need to know? The element in an array matching the given index. Always return undefined if index is minus the array length or exceeding the length without accessing the corresponding property. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to do this. This is the same, right? Okay. Is there anything I want to know about this? But besides that, we made some notes. So we're gonna go to add. So add returns a part of the function. It returns a matching element. The input is a value. An abbreviation is then non non-mutable part matching value. So yeah. So npmv. Okay. This we call npmv. npmv. Next one. Um, that was the add. Concat. Okay, let's see concat. I already know what concat is, but I just wanna check it out. The concat method of an instance is used to merge two or more arrays. This method does not change the existing array, but instead returns a new array. So it's non-mutable, right? So we're gonna write it down. It is a non-mutable. And it returns something new, right? So the return value is something new, which is unique. And it can add things up to the value of something. But you start with just one array. And then you can indefinitely put in arrays. So I can also say then plus array 2. And then we have a problem here. Oh, um, array 3. But that will still give me a problem. Oh wait. Let's create let's create another value. What the hell? Okay, I wasn't paying attention. I thought I could just do this. So copy, paste. I'm gonna say array for and this is gonna be um, FDF, FEF. And we're gonna say array.for. Let's see what happens. Array one. Oh, that is problem. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we have a bit of a problem here because they are not added as I thought it would be. Maybe because I should set comma. Interesting. So we can fix that by doing some kind of other function, but notice that we have to use a comma here. So what we learned here is that if you use an array.concat, like array concat, then you have to use comma separators because it's an array and returns a new array. Okay, so let's write this down. So we have a non-mutable, we have an input of values, which is the value of n. Then the next one, it returns a new array. So new array. And is there anything I need to know? I'm not sure. Okay, let's see the answer. Um, the method of concat is it returns an whole array. Okay, but it's like a whole new array, right? Like whole new. So I'm going to say whole new array. So non-mutable, whole new array. It returns an array. That's true. The input are is a value. We said that with the value of n. So we're going to say, oh, value of n. How do we call that? So what is the O here again? Mm, I forgot what the O stands for. Other? Let me check the add. Okay. NP non-mutable part match the function and a value. And I set the O as an array. Does that make any sense? I have to check my notes for this though. So let's go to concat again. So yeah, it returns an array and it returns f of n. Right? So n. Because it can be unlimited. Okay? Well, that is the concat. Copy within is mutable, so we're going to continue with entries. The entries method of array returns a new array iterator object. Oh, it creates an object. Is that true? Okay. Array iterator object that contains the key value pairs for each index in the array. Okay, let's read. Const array is ABC. We say iterator is array dot entries. So we're gonna say at index 1 there's A, or index 0 is A, 1 is B, 1 is C. But it's also using other stuff. Hmm. I'm not quite sure how it works here. I'm gonna play around with it a bit. Let's make it easy for myself. Um, iterator 1. So let's just console.log. That is going to be iterator 1. I just want to see what happens. It said that it returns a new array iterator object. So it's going to return an object. Yes. Okay. That contains the key value part. Okay. For each index in the array. Okay. What if I um, want to have the first one? It says undefined. And what if I do the first one? Undefined. Okay, so that's not how you do it. So it's not, it's a really an object. Okay, interesting. Let me think of a use case of this. Why would you return this. I don't know the use case of this. I do know for the other ones, but I don't know for this one. I'm just gonna copy this to ChatGPT, and I'm gonna say, um, how do you access these um, object array in the radar? Okay. But that wouldn't that be a bit weird? But dot next, is it an array prototype? Okay. What does it say? Entries? Entries returns the whole, and it is on a other. It has no arguments. No arguments. And I said, oh, oh. Okay, so I really need to check my documentation for this. Um, but it's basically saying that if you're gonna do that, you're gonna say next. So let's see if we do only next, what happens. Value array is 0, A, done is false. Okay, so I wanna ask why done not false. Why does it return done dot false? Oh, okay, but if it's finished, then it should give me a true. Uh, so if I do dot value dot value dot value, let's see what happens. It's reading value. Okay, because these are functions. I'm not sure because I've never seen these before. I'm just trying. Type errors. Okay. Dot next. Dot next. Can I do this? Okay. Because then we need to loop. Okay, then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, when do I get to see true? Okay. Okay. What if I want to access a specific value key pair? Okay. I don't see why we should do that, to be honest. How much time do we have left? 1 minute. Okay, so we have 3 done. And on later on stream I'm gonna do this one. I'm going to do, let me see. Let me actually do this one without an X. I think I understand contact. I think I understand add. What I don't understand is the entries. So we have to spend more time on that. So I'm gonna say neutral. Like I understand how to access one of them, but usually you would loop to them. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT before the time runs out. What is a real life use case of entries? Displaying list items with indexes. Okay, I would never do this. Building tables with lists with keys. Okay. Comparing index and value for logic. Sometimes you need both index and value for conditional logic. Okay. Why just not use for each for map? You can use for each, but enters gives clearer syntax for destructuring. And place 19 with 4 of, which can be more readable. Just needs value or index alone. Okay, so if you want to have a pair, you use entries. If you want to use value and index, then okay, that's the case. Sure. All right, done that. Save, and then let's do the project. You have like a half hour left for the project, so let's hurry up. I'm not sure where we left off, so. Okay. Localhost. Awesome. Let's open the real website. Pharmaca. Okay, this is what we have. And we had a little bit of a bug. Not sure what the bug was though. Okay, this is what we have, and this is currently what they have. We haven't did the animations yet, but we will eventually. Um, so yeah, it's time to re-render those stuff. We're gonna use that with AI. So let's see, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so let's do that. That's gonna be very interesting. Okay. Mm, okay, we're gonna close these ones. And we're gonna go not to social proof. We're gonna go to the projects. So projects, and we left off here, and specifically this one. We're gonna make an advanced prompt, but first we need all the images and assets, and we're gonna write down the names. Grab. No, we actually need to make a constants first. Okay, let's make the constants, and then let's render it then. Now, what is a constant? A constant is static data, and the static data we can use it later to loop over it. I don't see the map currently. Let me see. Components, constants. Okay, we have constants here. We're gonna open up a new one. I'm gonna say projects.typescript. Okay, awesome. So we have some ideas here, and we're gonna call this projects. I think, where are the social proof? Okay, so the social proof does have development. Okay, so I do need to have some types. Here I have types, but I want to check in my other types map. Okay, so eventually we have to extract these. I think this one is actually very useful to use. And we're gonna say projects. Projects. I'm also gonna call this projects. And we're gonna compare soon. There's also just 6. Let's do the first one. So it's bold shift as a name, bold shift. And we also have a SVG. So for each one, we're gonna enter an SVG, comma, SVG is equal to name. Now we don't know the name yet, but we'll do that soon. So also here for TypeScript, Dat and Dr. Miser, thank you so much. We're doing the project, so if you're interested in how to make React projects, this is the channel to be. I'm actually showing you from scratch. So, um, and I think the SVG is, it's not a string. Well, kinda. If I do this, it's a string. So yeah, let's make it a string. And we already have bold shift defined here. Let me see where it is. Would it be bold shift? So we're gonna do this. Bold shift. We actually could have used multi-cursor by the way. Bold shift. And then for the first SVG, we will call this bold shift. Okay, let's close this. No, not close this, but make it smaller. And let's do Alt back. So we are back here. Now we have this SVG, but we also need like the image. We don't know the name of the image, so we have to go to the project folder because we gave it a name. And let's see what the name is. This is the SVG. And we want to have the image. Okay, big caption, bold shift, span. Okay, here's the image. And it seems it's called image bold shift.jpg. Okay, so we have to give it a name. Let's actually do it in pairs. So we're gonna call this bold shift bold shift JPEG and bold shift SVG. I think that is makes the difference worthwhile. Okay, so we have something like this then. What's going on? Static data type is not assignable to type string. So we have to say that the image cannot be a string. Let me think of how to fix that because I haven't used TypeScript in a while. Yeah, static image data is not a typeable string. Makes sense. Um, but should we do it directly then? That is the real question. Let me drink something. Okay. So there are certain names for this. I just don't know what the name is, how to call this in TypeScript. Because there are a lot of HTML stuff here, you see? So I'm gonna try maybe image element. Let's see what it does. Type static data is missing the following properties from type image elements: align, alt, border, complete, and 337 more. Okay, so it's not this one. So let's type just image and let's see what we have. This is not the image that I'm looking for. No, we're not gonna find that here. Image data? Is that okay? No. So yeah, we don't know the naming. Maybe we can find something out with JPEG or something. Let me see. We had the image here. Let me see where it was. The image element, but that was not enough. It says image attributes. I'm not sure if that is correct though. Let's try that one. So let's go to. I don't think that's right. Requires one type argument. Okay, no. So I think this is a good case of ChatGPT to figure it out. So because I can look it up in the documentation, but it's going to take a long time to find it. So um, good case for ChatGPT. Maybe it only needs to be something like some kind of invoke, but we'll see. I'm curious what ChatGPT would have to say about this. Um, yeah, just gonna type it. There's a few issues. Yeah, it needs a type elevator. Okay, so this is the type elevator. So im's attribute in its elements. So it's this one. Okay, so let's see what it says. Static image data only if you're using Next.js. Okay, I did not notice that Next.js comes with it out of the box. That's pretty cool. Because then I don't have to use the TypeScript function. I can just say this. But I want to see how up to date this actually is. So we're going to go to the Next.js documentation. We're going to copy that. And let's go to the documentation and type this. Open in V0. Not really. Now I want to go to the docs and try again. Open in V0. Is that the only part you have? Okay. Is a TypeScript type in Next.js represent the metadata for statically imported type. When you're using Next.js, always generates that type. How it works. usage with Next.js. Next image, hero image. Image is hero image or placeholder SVG. Automatically optimization, type safety, built-in blur, placeholders, cache friendly, no layout shifts. Source. Okay, and where's the alt then? Okay, we'll try it, right? So didn't know that it existed, but now we know. Let's copy here. And let's go to on top. And then we can just say this. And that solves the issue. Right? It does. Okay. We actually have to have two alts here. So the name is bold shift, the image is bold shift, yes, and SVG is this one. No, we can just keep it as is. Okay. So now we need a couple of other ones. Well, the first one that we need to have here is EP Hemiral. Okay. So EP Hemiral. And I'm also going to call the this one here. So let's rename that. Alright, so that's that one. Let's go to it didn't do it correctly. Okay, 10. And we're gonna call this also a perimeter, right? Oh no, we said imp dot ephemeral. Okay, so it's a bit of a difficult word. It's very boring, the static stuff, but you're gonna see the cool stuff soon. It's worth the investment. So um, JPEG, and I'm gonna say image ephemeral dot JPEG. Okay, let's look that one up all the way down. I'm gonna rename that. Okay, now we have these ones. Now we have to change the naming from this one. I'm gonna click here, the warp speed here, the alt here, and this one. Oh, I should have not done the SVG, to be honest. This one, and this one is gonna be with the JPEG. The other one doesn't, so give me a second. Okay, JPEG, and okay, that is that one. That's the second one. Now we have a third one. Let's see what the third one actually is. That is power surge. Okay, so we're gonna type both of them. Oh, let's do it here first. Power surge. And then we're gonna say, oh, here the same. power search JPEG from image to power search. So let's do the naming. So first we have power search, and let's go all the way up here, and this is one is called power search. Awesome. And this one we're gonna call image/power search. Alright, let's go back to the project. Now we need to kind of do the same here. So for the flower, okay, here JPEG, and then here the name again. Great. Next one. That is master mail. Master mail. Okay. Master mail. Master mail JPEG. And then we're gonna say im master mail copy. Let's do the same here. Very boring, I know guys, but it's gonna be cool very much soon. Okay, im/master mail. Okay, great. Gonna do exact same. We are halfway, we need to do two more. So name, this one, this one. Okay, JPEG. Okay, next. Warp speed. Warp speed. Okay, let's do the same. Awesome. Warp speed. Awesome. F2. Warp speed already exists. Okay, warp speed project then. Okay. Warp speed. Okay, so how did we name that one? Warp speed project. So we're gonna copy that naming and we're gonna go to our project again. Here. Okay. Same procedure, which is the OC one. Warp speed. This one is warp speed.jpg, and this one. Awesome. And the last one is called CloudWatch. CloudWatch. Okay. So Shift Alt down, space, and we're gonna CloudWatch. Awesome. F2, CloudWatch. F2, image/CloudWatch. Let's go to projects. Okay. Here, same. CloudWatch. This one is going to be CloudWatch.jpg and also CloudWatch. Okay, so there was a lot of static data, but now we can loop through it. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go to projects.tsx, but first we actually have to import and export it from our main file. So I'm gonna do projects. then okay, I'm gonna go to projects now, and we'll let the AI do it this time instead of we are going to do it. So we're gonna start with, I think, text. I think we should. Let me see. Um, 2024, 2025. What is this? We have an issue with the CloudWatch project. Can't resolve. Okay, let's do the issue first. So why can it not resolve? It's with a C. I don't see it though. Maybe that's why. Warp speed dot projects. Oh, I know why. Because we said here also imp.mastermail imp.power search. You see the CloudWatch project, but we don't need that. It's actually this one. And it says module can be found imp.cloudwatch.svg, because this one has to be a JPEG, and all of these needs to be JPEG. Oh, no, let's not do that. Did I break it? No. Okay. This one, this one. JPEG? Does that resolve the issue? Yes, it does. Okay, great. Let's go back, because then we did some fixes. Now, we have certain things here that we wanna call this one. We wanna call this like item.name, right? And let me see, round it full. And we wanna have the source. We wanna have go here to the projects. We said that the source is item.image. Okay. Item image item.image, and here it's item.alt. No, item.svg, because this is an svg. And here we say for the source item.url, and then item.alt. Now why are we saying this? Because we have defined these things here, and we're giving the AI some stuff to do with. So now it knows what SVG is, alt, image, where the name needs to go. So let me see where I should start. Port flex. I think we can start here from line 25 all the way to, let me see. Yeah, I think something like this. Let me see how many spans. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. So we're gonna let the AI do it. This is going to be exciting. Hopefully it does the AI a good job. So we're gonna go to open a new tab. And we're gonna do it with code. We're gonna say projects. And we have to be very specific here. And also constants and project. These are the things we need to open because we edited those stuff. In projects.tsx, I gave some comments like item dot name. The name could be alt image svg. This is what I want to say. In the project folder, in a projects.ts, we have static um, array of objects, and we are grabbing um, grabbing that from constant.tsx. Okay, create a map for create a map function for this and render this correctly such that I get 6 of them with different item.name, item.alt, item.image, and item.svg, where item is .map item. Okay. Am I forgetting something? It's not too much um, code, to be honest, but I'm thinking this should do it. Projects.tsx, solve code forces. I'm not sure what it is, brother. It's probably some kind of lead code stuff, I think. Okay, so let's see what the AI can come up with. So what I want to see, I want to have 6 of these with different image, with different logos. So let's see if it does it. Okay, it did an okay job. The problem is, yeah, the problem is that we did this correctly, but this one seems to be for each. This what we don't want. Also, it's not rendering the bold shift correctly. So let's go back. So we're gonna go Control B. It made a saving point, so I wanna restore task and files, and hopefully it did that. It did not. That's okay. I don't have a timeline. I do. Let me see. Oh, I should go back. Wait, give me a second. Yeah, restore files. Okay. So we have one. Um, so the problem is that it did not render correctly. Now we're gonna do the same because this is a free AI. We're gonna do the same for the premium AI. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. And we gave a lot of context. Let's see where our prompt is. Okay. I don't see our prompt, to be honest. Okay, let's terminate. I lost my prompt. That's very unfortunate. Oh, here? It's here? Okay, this is our prompt. So let's copy that, and we're gonna do this with an expert AI. So we're gonna change our AI to anthropodic, and hopefully it understands more context. We'll see. Yeah, solve lead code to get job. I think, bro, you need a little bit of both. You need projects and you need lead code, right? So, okay. That's very expensive. 7 cents just to check. I'm curious what it would do. It has an constant issue. Yeah. Okay. Great. It solved that. Okay. That seems to be done correctly. There's only one problem. The SVGs are not rendered properly. That looks to the ES link for by escaping the app itself. Sure. Okay. I'm very happy with that result because it rendered both of them. Now I want to do something else. I want to say in project, um, I think, let's go here. Are we doing something wrong? We said public that images for all of them. Okay, so that makes sense. Then let's go to the projects again. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna say add project, um, and I'm gonna say add projects TS and add public images, and I'm gonna say constants, and I'm gonna ask. It seems like the SVGs do not render correctly. Check if they exist in the public image folder first. Okay. So it didn't catch that properly. That's okay. Type error. Rate limited. This will exceed the rate limit for your organization. Oh, okay. Oh, please reduce the prompt length of maximum token request or try again later. It's just the rate limit. Okay. We have to wait a little bit because we're using too much tokens. I already used this what do you call it? This AI. Let me check just in case if we have enough money on anthropodic. So anthropodic settings billing. Uh, anthropodic settings profile. Appearance. Oh, I'm logged out. Okay. To continue, go to the link. Okay, never mind. Is it dumb? Okay, so it directly calls the SVGs. Is that what you're saying? Sure, no problem. Okay, but then we can remove the S. Oh, okay, I see. It directly grabs it. Okay, sure. Now I'm gonna say I want it in a grid, and it should be two items next to each other. And I'm gonna go to the projects, and I'm gonna specifically target this part. Okay. I'm also gonna ask later if it can make it responsive as well. So what I want to do, I want these two to be next to each other in rows of two. So let's see if the AI can figure that out. I'm happy I don't have to write this because it's terrible to write it. Okay, looks good. There's a little bit of a spacing issues between, right? But we can fix that later. Another calculate image width as well. Sure, no worries. So we want to have barely any space, or this is what we have, and this is what it currently is. So yeah, pretty close, right? Oh, it seems that some of them have like a filter on top. Not sure what filter that is, but we'll figure it out later. Especially for the master mail part. Okay. Let's see if it's responsive already. No. Um, so um, make it responsive as well. Specifically, um, okay, wanna go here. I only wanna make this responsive. So I don't wanna do that now. I let the AI do this. Let's see if it can figure it out. So this is what we have, and we want to have this responsive. Looks good. Okay, almost, right? The problem is the this part. Item container, yeah. Let's see if we can figure out the item container. Okay, that is some doesn't seems to be fixed. Let me update the dots to be responsive. It has trouble to do that. Very expensive, my dude. Okay, great. Did a good job. So let's see. Great. I'm very satisfied with the result so far. Yeah. Now we have a spacing issue, and the spacing issue is in the y-axis of the gap in the grid. So let's see if we can. Was a little bit of a fight going, right? Like we could do it from scratch, but it will take us longer. So um, let's see where the grid starts. So project flux goal. I said specifically a grid calls gap 4, medium gap 8. Okay. Let me read the film lines to complete the image components. Sure. I'll let the AI run a bit. So let it uh, let it fix what it should or whatever. I have enough money for it, so great. Now what we want to do, we say gap 4. So if we remove the medium gap, right? What will happen? Well, it's a little bit closer. So we want to say on medium, we want to say the gap is 2. Let's see how it looks like. So this is very close. And yeah, I think that is pretty much close as we can get. Maybe we can say gap 1. Let's see how it looks like. It's very close though. Yeah, that looks pretty much similar. Very happy with that result. Now this specific image actually has a darken glow over it. Also this image and this image. So if that is true, then for each image we need to have like a some kind of darken filter. But it seems that for these ones, oh no, both for both ones also as well. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Ours is a bit bigger, but that doesn't matter because it's structured with the same width as this one, so that is not an issue. Now, we're gonna close the AI. We don't need the AI anymore, I think. All right, so close that. Let's zoom it a bit in. So yeah, the AI did pretty well. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now what I want to do then is I see that each one is very close to each other. Is that normal? Yes, it is. Okay, then I let it be. So yeah, I want to create like some kind of filter over the image. Um, so let's see where the image actually is. So in between these ones, I want to create an image. Now I'm not gonna do that again. We did that and there was a lot of struggle with that. So I'm gonna say, let's do the AI again then. Um, yeah, let's do it some code. I'm gonna say in a project, I'm gonna refer this. I want a filter between these ones such that it is 30% darker on the image. 30% darker on the image but the SVG is not affected. Let's see. Maybe we can just say darken something. I'm curious how it would solve it. It can create a filter between, or it can just say like BJ white dot dirty. So let's see what it's gonna do. I'm curious. Dark overlay between the SVG and the image component. Let me set the image overlay after the image. Okay. Absolute inset, BG black, opacity dirty, rounded 5. Okay. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I understand. Right? But yeah, it's completely black. We don't want that. So I'm gonna try to solve it a different way. So we're gonna put this here. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to tailwind. Give me a second. Um, let's go to tailwind. And let me see if I can darken. Okay. Oh, let's do overlay. Oh, this is something else. Maybe we should call it like filter. Filter, grayscale, hue, invert, saturate. Let's just type filter. So what does this do? Okay, that is not necessarily what we want. Mm, but that was a good thought. Maybe we can do blend, mix blend mode, and then we can say mix blend darken. So let's see if that works on the image. Not really. But I think that we should maybe define it with something else. Um, yeah, we need to have a background, to be honest. Okay, so BG black 5, like it's very light. Okay, BG black 50 doesn't work for the images. Maybe because of the darken. Okay, background black. Okay, so not that is not a solution. So we do need a filter. So we have BG black, and we're gonna say 3%. Okay, but that doesn't make any sense. Let's do here. Okay, I don't see any change. Let's do 15. Okay, okay, we have a result here. Does it look similar though? I think that's pretty okay. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Now we don't have this. I'm not sure how to optimize this. So we can use image, but we need a width. So okay, this is a bit complicated, and I don't want to look it up. So sorry. Okay. Use next image with a with keeping the width as is. Okay. Let's see how it solves it. Okay, we'll see if it can solve the problem. There's nothing's gonna happen on screen though. But yeah, we have this rendered on the screen, so that's great. Now next up is actually these ones. And we have a counter here, so that's gonna be pretty interesting. But we're gonna first make everything static. So just wanted to let you know that we did one animation. So this is the animation that we made, right? So, well, we don't want to make animations. This is my way of programming. I just make static first, then we make it responsive. Then we're gonna get like um, the functions, right? The functional part, and then we're gonna create the animations. This is my way of doing stuff. So, all right. Let me see. Okay. Um, Great. Height, width, height 200. So it did change the width and height. Are these the same? Not really. We actually can make this actually half of that even. Does not respond. Okay. Then we should actually make this 25. Mine is a bit bigger, I think. Yeah, but it's fine. Let's see 20 for a second. Nah, I'm just gonna do 25. It's not a big issue. Okay, looks good. Now we're pretty much done some sections, right? So next time we're gonna do this section probably, and let's see what happens here. It grows actually in size. Or doesn't? I hate to make that, to be honest. Or is it only, yeah, it also removes the gap. That's a bit annoying because here we don't have that. Okay, so these are not the same stuff. Is there anything I need to make a use state or something? Nope. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna create that next time. There's a lot of to create, right? It keeps just going and going and going. This is a very large project, so yeah. See you around, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see me make 6 on 7 years, and I will see you until the next one.